Good morning. How are you this morning? My name's Linda and I'm a trauma recovery coach, and this morning we're going to talk about how to divorce a narcissist and keep your sanity. And even though I'm sitting here and I have joy in my heart, I want you to understand that I know and have been through and experienced the depths of hell and the darkness that you have been through. I have compassion and understanding because I walk those roads in those shoes, and it is very, very hard. So every bit of information that I can give you will help you to keep your sanity. Now, one of the most challenging parts of divorcing a narcissist is understanding this concept, truth. Okay? Truth has three sides to it. The first is the literal meaning. So imagine a child's there, and this is particularly important when it comes to children. When we're divorcing a narcissist, they will say everything in black and white. Every single thing is black and white that comes out of their mouth. It's literal. Everything is literal. Literal. That child is doing this. Yes, that child is doing that. But when you add the second component of truth into it, which is meaning, a narcissist can't go into the meaning of it, because when we apply meaning into life, we're going to involve our heart. Okay? So when we sit back, and this is the same on both sides of the coin, whether it's men or women, and not only have I been through it, but my closest friends have been through it as well. And divorcing a narcissist is all sides. Oh, there's so many parts to it that we can't cover it all today, but what I can do is give you the impact and how you can manage it a whole heap better to keep your sanity. So the first two parts of truth are the literal meaning, and then there's meaning when we apply it to our individual lives. What does this mean? So if the child's acting out, we don't just say, oh, you're acting out and we're going to smack you. We're going to sit back and we're going to say, well, why are they acting out? You know, what's happening in their day-to-day life? Is there a change? What's been going on? Pardon me. But a narcissist won't do that. They will go, no, you're acting out, smack you or discipline you in whatever way it is, wherever you are in the world, because around the world it's completely different everywhere according to the society that you live in. And that's it. That's the end of the story for the narcissist. But for those who aren't narcissistic, we look for the deeper meaning of what's going on. And then the third part of the truth is in the experience. Now, without those three parts, we can have no personal growth either, because we're going to take our experience, we're going to look for the meaning to gain an understanding of it, and the logic or the literal helps us put it all in an order. Okay? Now, when you're dealing with a narcissist, they will stop at the literal meaning of everything. So they don't look for a deeper meaning. They don't look for understanding. It's all black and white. They function from here up, because they don't want to go into their heart and add meaning to it, because then they're going to have to take a look at the wounds, their soul wounds, and why they have such bitterness in their life, why they don't want to perceive that there can be a difference. And I know this because when you're married to them, they get very, this is the way it is and that's it. There will be no correspondence entered into. And I know that if you're at the point of having to divorce them, I know you have tried repeatedly upon repeatedly, to help them understand that there is a deeper meaning and a deeper understanding of what is happening, of what's going on, of what the children need. I know that you have tried, okay? And we never take divorce. Divorce is never a win for anybody. It's not, oh, I'm just divorcing you. It takes a very long time to reach the point where you want to give up on the dream that you had. Well, you don't even want to give up on it. We we go, I've got, this person is leaving me literally with no choice. So they're making a choice by not making a choice that we cannot function in this relationship because they will not sit down and look for the deeper understanding of what's happening here, not only just in our relationship, but in our relationship with our children. And in order to have a functional relationship, actually I should have brought 2 eggs out. There's 3 parts to an egg. There's 3 parts to the truth, okay? So the literal meaning, the underlying meaning, and the experience, and you've got to bring them all together. If you've got 2 eggs and they've got 3 parts and they've got to join together, then you're going to have multiple areas where there can be growth. Just picture when you put 2 eggs together in a pan, and look, there are infinite ways you can use those eggs. Infinite. Well, maybe not infinite, but there's lots of different ways. So when a problem comes up in a relationship, there's going to be infinite solutions, but we've got to be able to work together. The narcissist takes away from the relationship the ability for all of us to work together for a meaningful outcome. Okay? They leave us with no choice because they won't go and deal with their own soul wounds. Okay? They won't. If they do, then we've still got the hope of a relationship. Okay? It helped me so very, very greatly to understand that they were making a choice and leaving me with no choice. Okay? And that they won't change. If they won't do the steps to change, then again, they're leaving me with no choice. I have to make a greater decision for my children so that they don't grow up around somebody who's angry a lot and just goes off at the drop of a hat. So that they don't grow up believing that anger is a way of life that is healthy, okay, because that's the message we give our kids when we stay, that this anger is an okay way of life. And yeah, we won't go down that road because that I could talk about that for forever. What happens is we see a bigger picture. We see that there's more meaning and a greater understanding, and we want the ability to grow. The narcissist won't do that. Okay? So let's just grab up the infographic so I'll stay on track. So we ask the question, why can't I affirm my sanity daily? Why is it so hard for me to say, I know that I understand this on a deeper level than they do? Okay? And it's because of that literal part of the truth that we know that, yeah, that part of it's right. Okay, yeah, sure. Those actions are happening. Yes, I entered into the argument as well, but can you not see that it has a deeper meaning and the context that we've got to know? They can't. So it makes it hard for us to go, we feel like we're caught between a rock and a hard place because we know what they're saying has some truth, but it's not the whole truth. So in order to begin to affirm my sanity, I need to understand that they will never understand the deeper meaning until they go and get help. So again, they're leaving me with no choice. So each day I'm going to affirm my sanity, that they don't understand. They're blocking off their ability to perceive another meaning, a deeper understanding, and to grow from the experience. They literally do not want to grow from life's challenges. They want everything to be the same in black and white, day in and day out. And then they get incredibly frustrated when it's not. Okay? So their incredible frustration is not our fault. We do feel compassion for them, we do love them, but sometimes love means we have to walk away in order that our children can have a healthy life as well. Okay? So what's stopping me crushing the eggshells once and for all? So what's stopping me going, right, I don't want to walk on eggshells anymore? There can be several things, unfortunately. The fact is we love them, and we went into the relationship loving them, warts and all, and we did, okay, make no mistakes about it. We went, right, yep, we can see that there's warts and all, and we will be able to deal with the challenges together. A lot of the misinformation is that we go into the relationship wanting to change them. We don't. We go into the relationship believing that we're going to be able to work together to sort through whatever challenges come our way. All right? We didn't ask for change. We knew things weren't perfect. We just believed in the process of growth. Okay? So in order for me to say, right, what's stopping me crushing the eggshells once and for all walking away, I have to come to an understanding that I have to put that dream aside and say, right, I've got to go through the divorce, but through this process there will be a new plan and a new purpose for my life that will unfold as I go through it. And we have to learn to say nothing, because we can't explain to them the deeper meaning of what's happening because of where they are, that they are only looking for the literal sense of what's going on. And it is hard. It is hard to watch them be that way, but they're leaving us with no choice. Okay? And then we say, well, what about the kids? I can guarantee that the kids are going to end up long-term healthier and happier by having the narrative that you will always, always love your dad. Always. No matter what our fathers do to us, we always love them. And believe me, mine's been challenging to say the least. But we won't always like his behaviour. And that's the same for all of us, all right? And when we can say that, when we can affirm that to our children, that it's okay to love them, but we don't have to agree with their behaviour. We don't even have to like their behaviour. They grow up within themselves solid that they know they love their dad, even though his behaviour wasn't the healthiest, all right? And I've raised 3 kids into adulthood who love their dad. Their dad's deceased now, but when I had to divorce him, I raised them to know that they would always love their dad, and they still do, but they wouldn't like his behaviour. They can see that his behaviour in the bigger picture wasn't healthy and whole, all right? So we create new narratives for ourselves as well. We go, okay, I understand, I have to understand, and it's heart-crushing, that he's choosing, or she's choosing, and again, it works both ways, it's just that I had a he. He's choosing to not participate in growth. And if you're in a marriage or a partnership, there is always going to be growth. If you listen to people that have been married for 50 years, they work together to overcome the problems and they stuck it out together. That means that in the togetherness, there's unity in their diversity. They didn't come out of it the same. They work together. You can't work together with a narcissist because they just want it their way or it's the highway. And their way can even be implied. They don't even have to verbalise it, it's implied. We know that unless we do it their way, there's going to be anger, and we try to avoid the anger. Well, unless you've got a fight personality, you try to avoid the anger. I don't have a fight type personality, so I prefer not. I will want to have the discussion, I will want to sit down and talk about it, but I don't want to fight about it. Alright, it's just not in my nature. I believe we're adults, we can sit down and talk about this. But if they won't talk, then we're left with no option. If they won't seek help, we're left with no options. It's just unfortunate the way it is. And then we have to go into empath retraining, okay? What's that mean? When we've got complex PTSD and it's come from our childhood, we sat back and we learnt to observe all the behaviour and what was happening for people internally. So we developed a really high sense of understanding people emotionally and what's happening and what's driving them, right? We became empathic, we understood, but we developed it out of a necessity to keep ourselves safe, right? Now, what happens with us and a narcissist is we actually understand what's going on inside of them more than they do because they haven't touched the wound. We can see it, but they're living in denial. They're not going into that perceptive part of their brain. So there is nothing that we can do, and we have to retrain ourselves to stay within ourselves by saying, okay, yes, I can see that, but it's none of my business. It is not my business to change anyone internally, externally. Yes, I can understand what's happening for them, but I have to keep my mouth shut, all right? I have to develop the ability to just stay within my ballpark, all right? One of the things I had to do to keep my sanity was to not talk about the divorce unless it was via email. It drove the person nuts that I was going through the divorce with, but I did it in order that I had everything written down, because they change what they say and it's hard to keep up with what they say. So I said, no, that's okay. I get it that you don't understand why I want it emailed, but I need it emailed so that we don't end up in an argument. I won't argue about it. We can have an adult conversation, but by the time you're divorcing them, you know that you can't have this adult conversation with somebody who is not on the same wavelength, okay? And it is very, very hard and very, very sad that we have to go through this process, and it's heartbreaking. But we have to value the deeper meaning and our personal growth more than somebody who wants to control us, okay? Oh, that's good, Nikki. That's awesome. So we want to be able to say, right, okay, I can't change how they're thinking because they're just literal. So go back, remind yourself, there's three parts to truth. There's the literal meaning, the deeper meaning, and the experience all woven into one. And I can't explain that to them, because if I try to explain that to them, they're living in the literal and there's no way around it. So I have to acknowledge when I'm feeling how they're feeling and go, no, it's not up to me to feel how they feel and try and help them work it out. It's just not. It's pointless. We won't be able to do it. So what we do is say, right, I've just got to protect my heart now. All right? They're leaving me with no choice. And can I say that when we're left with no choice, it breaks our heart all over again. Because we had such hope when we entered into the marriage that we would literally face life's challenges and work them out together. All right? That's why you get married, is because to have that person there that you do life with and face the challenges together. So anyhow, I reverted to doing everything via email in order that, one, it was written down, and that I also could have all my thoughts ordered about what was going to happen. It helped me so much, and it helped keep not just a boundary, and it's not a barrier, but it helped keep us both not arguing and not having that pressure put on me to want to see things his way. All right? So when we don't enter into a dialogue with them, yes, they get frustrated. Absolutely they do, because they want you to see things their way. But they're an adult, and we just have to put that down now. All right? Leave it to them, put it down, and say, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Now, the one thing I want to tell you is, if you have children and you're divorcing a narcissist, you make sure that you get court orders straight away for access visits, right? Get it done straight away. I know too many people that have had to go through long, drawn-out processes. I didn't, because, well, one, the court system was different, and I just said, right, every second weekend, and then he had every Wednesday night. This is the kid's dad, not my second marriage. He had every Wednesday night dinner. And look, we just agreed on that, but there was a whole lot of circumstances around why that was possible. But in this day and age, narcissists are getting even nastier when it comes to the kids. So I want to tell you this, before you get out, have it sorted and organised what you're going to do about arranging the legal aspect of access to your kids. And don't think, oh, it's okay, they're doing this, and, at the moment, yeah, sure, it's fine. But further down the track, you've got to think bigger picture. Remember, we're doing this out of meaning and growth. The bigger picture is that life changes, somebody else will come into your life eventually, and it may be then that the narcissist decides to act. And I have watched this on both sides of the spectrum, as in men and women, and men and women do the same thing when they're narcissists. They will go for the jugular when it comes to the kids. Okay? They can move on from you. And they absolutely do go and pick up with the next thing. They just do. It's how they are. But when it comes to the kids, they know that if they go for the kids, they're hurting you. So you need to make sure that you have everything in black and white as to access to the kids. Otherwise, at some point in time, they come back into your life and try to disrupt it, especially when you get a new life, once you've done your healing and you get a new life, all right? So get the kids sorted in advance, all right? I hope that helps. If you need any more information, please feel welcome to ask questions or private message me, whatever you need, because it's a long journey, right? And it literally does not happen overnight. You don't come to the decision that you've got to divorce them overnight, because it causes you a lot of pain. But when we see the bigger picture for what our kids need in their life to lay a really good, healthy foundation, we know that we get left with no choice. Okay? All right, thanks for joining in this morning. I really appreciate you being here. And like I said, feel free to ask any questions. Have a gorgeous Friday, and I will be back. I'm pretty sure we're not up to Easter yet, so I'll be back on Monday. Okay, bye for now.